For Sam Levitt on the Jamul Casino Resort post-game show. We talked a little bit about Jake Cronenworth. We talked a little bit about his, obviously his home run that really set the tone. And do we have Sam? Sam is down with Jake Cronenworth after today's victory.
Jake, you've won 7 of your last 8 games. How would you describe the kind of baseball this team is playing right now?
No, it's awesome. I think the way you're seeing us play, the way we come back from a loss, and I think this is kind of what we've been working towards all year, and it seems to be clicking. New group of guys, but they're fitting in really well. So it's awesome.
You mentioned the new group of guys. Ramon Laureano has the home run late. How significant is it to get that kind of contribution from that new group?
Yeah, no, it's huge. I think, we've talked about it the last few days since I've been here, man. It just extends our lineup, and 1 through 9, it's every guy's a tough out for that pitcher.
The pitching staff obviously got a little bit shaky there at the end, but Jake, you look at what these guys do. You got Jason Adam coming in the 6th inning. What's the real advantage you have with this bullpen right now?
No, I think we saw it today. It's, even David Morgan coming in, and he dominates, and I feel like it's the first not great outing Morejone's had all year. He's been nails for us the entire season. But then to have the ability to bring in Suarez or Mason, and it's just the opportunities to mix and match and make that happen is incredible.
Your swing in the 4th inning, 2-run home run to get the Padres on the board. What allowed you to have success in that at bat?
No, I feel like I've seen him pretty well in my career, but he's tough, man. He's really quick to the plate, and like I said, his pitches move pretty uniquely. But just trying to get something I can drive in the gap and get Ramon in there.
Jake, great job today. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Sam.
That's Jake Cronenworth with Sam Levitt post-game after a Padres 7-3 victory over the St. Louis Cardinals. I'm Braden Suprenant filling in for Sam Levitt on the Jamul Casino Resort post-game show. We're going to talk more, obviously, about what went down in today's game. Padres with a big victory over St. Louis. Offense looks pretty good, continuing to click now as a unit, especially with some of the new pieces. Ryan O'Hearn was 1 for 4 today. Ramon Laureano was 2 for 4. Freddie Fermin, 2 for 3. Everybody contributing today in some type of way. The only one without a hit today was Manny. But Manny still found a way to get on base and end up scoring a run. So offensively, everything was great for the Padres. From a pitching standpoint, Dylan Cease looked pretty good again today. And when you only have to go through the order maybe a couple of times and then get to that elite bullpen, that's a recipe for success, as Dylan Cease picked up his 4th win of the season. Padres pitching staff in general with, I think it was 16 strikeouts, 9 from Cease, 3 from Estrada, 3 from Morgan, 1 from Robert Suarez. The only bad part about today was Adrian Morejon and having to pitch for the first time in what has been a long time. You would expect that a little bit with some pitchers that had some time off and haven't been able to pitch in a lot of games, and that's obviously going to get figured out and fixed. But the Padres win 7-3. We'll talk about what other teams in baseball did, how it impacts the Padres later on. We will also get into our usual features here on the Jamul Casino Resort post-game show. When we talk with Mike Shildt, he'll meet with the media in a little bit. Catch of the game, relief pitcher of the game, heart of the order, how they did, and of course a very important out-of-town scoreboard as we're post-deadline now, and it's prime scoreboard watching time with all the games that you need to be focused on if you're a Padres fan. What happened in today's game, though? When we come back on the Jamul Casino Resort post-game show, we will play today's highlights to tell you how the Padres took down the Cardinals 7-3. I'm Braden Suprenant filling in for Sam Levitt on the Jamul Casino Resort post-game show on the Padres Radio Network and San Diego's #1 sports station, 97 through the Fan. Here on the Jamul Casino Resort post-game show, Braden Suprenant filling in for Sam Levitt. Sam Levitt is headed out of town, and he will be back again tomorrow for the pre- and post-game show as they go to Arizona. The Padres do. I'll be back again on Wednesday for the post-game show. So a little bit of changing of hats a little bit here. You got to fill in when you can. Obviously, if you haven't heard me before on the post-game show, I'm on every single day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan, on the Braden Suprenant Show. But filling in today for Sam Lev on the Jamul Casino Resort post-game show after a Padres 7-3 victory over the St. Louis Cardinals. How did this game come about? Let's get to today's highlights.
Which moments determine the outcome of today's game? We'll paint you a picture with our game highlights on the Padres Radio Network.
Padres game started off with a lot of guys on base and not a lot of runs scored and an hour worth of baseball in 3 innings, it seemed like. I mean, both pitchers, it was fascinating to me that both pitchers had over 60 pitches in the first 3 innings of work each of a scoreless game. And the Padres, in their first 3 innings today, had their first 2 batters per inning reach base and still did not score in the first 3 innings. So shutout ball for both Dylan Cease and Andre Palante, the SoCal kid out of Mission Viejo, California. But it wasn't until the 4th inning, after Dylan Cease went a 1-2-3 by striking out Contreras, striking out Nolan Gorman, and then getting Jordan Walker to line out. It was the bottom of the 4th where the Padres had an opportunity. With 1 out in the bottom of the 4th inning after Ramon Laureano singled on a soft ground ball to third base, Jake Cronenworth came up and hit his 9th homer of the season.
0-1 is launched in the air to deep right center field. Walker's going back on the track, at the wall, looking up, gonna go! Jake Cronenworth, a 2-run homer. And the Padres finally strike against Palante. It's 2-0.
Finally strike is right. I mean, they had opportunity after opportunity. And AJ Cassavell put out a tweet of the first 3 innings, like I mentioned before. Palante had 65 pitches. 55 of those pitches were high leverage pitches that the Padres made him throw, and unfortunately didn't score any runs until the aforementioned 2-run homer by Jake Cronenworth. It was good to see him lose one, his 9th home run of the season, gave the Padres a 2-0 win, or 2-0 lead. Now, as for Dylan Cease overall did a pretty good job from a pitching standpoint. Was he efficient? Not really. High pitch count. But Dylan Cease ended up going 5 innings after he shut down the Cardinals again in the top half of the 5th. 5 innings, 1 hit ball, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts. We've seen Dylan Cease do this a lot. It'd be nice to see him string a couple of these together. Now, no worried about the trade deadline or anything like that. Maybe Cease settles in a little bit. I like the Wyatt Earp mustache today. Trimmed up the kind of scruff around it, the beard. Maybe that's the look he needs to move things on here in the second half of the season. So offensively for the Padres, threatened, didn't get too many runs in, but got the 2-run bomb out of Jake Cronenworth. Moving along, bullpen looked pretty good for the Padres too, with the exception of the 9th inning, but we'll get there in a second. It is the 7th inning in which the Padres were able to put some more runs on the board and some runs that they absolutely needed to put up with some insurance. Freddie Fermin singled to start off the 7th inning. Then Fernando Tatis Jr. doubled for his 19th double of the year. Arraez flew out to center field. Manny Machado walked. And with the bases loaded and 1 out, it looked like rookie sensation Jackson Merrill from a year ago.
First pitch, Merrill swings, grounds it towards first. That's a fair ball down the line. Here we go. Fermin has scored. Fernando's on his way. Machado being waved at third. The relay comes into first, no chance. A bases clearing triple for Merrill, and it's 5-0 in the 7th.
Jackson Merrill clears the bases with a triple down the right field line that would give the Padres a 5-0 lead. Xander Bogaerts then added on with a sacrifice fly to center field to make it 6-0, and the Padres looked like they were going to cruise to a nice little victory on a Sunday afternoon. Well, fast forward a little bit further in the bottom of the 8th inning, Padres got yet another insurance run and yet another new face to the Padres lineup. It was Ramon Laureano to lead off the 8th for a solo shot to right field, his 16th homer of the year.
Munoz delivers, and that's in the air to right field. Well struck. Walker's going back. He's on the warning track at the wall. It's going to go! Apo Taco for Ramon Laureano. His first is a Padre. 16th of the season, and now 7-0 in the 8th.
Padres got the touchdown to go up 6-0. Ramon Laureano tacked on the extra point for a 7-0 lead over St. Louis, and then was off to the 9th inning. Now, the 9th inning didn't really go probably as smooth as the Padres would like it. Adrian Morejon came in to replace David Morgan. I haven't seen Morejon in a handful of games, and it looked like it. Ivan Herrera singled, Alex Burleson singled, Wilson Contreras walked, and he had the bases loaded with nobody out and nobody getting warmed up in the bullpen to help out Morejon. Nolan Gorman then singled to score the first run for the Cardinals to make it 7-1, and then Jordan Walker, with the bases loaded and no outs, stepped up to the plate.
Right. This is lined into right field. That's down to the base hit. Burleson will score. Contreras will be held. Another run in. It's 7-2, and still the Cardinals have the bases loaded and nobody out.
That was enough for Mike Shildt. After a little bit of stalling with Freddie Fermin and Manny Machado on the mound and then walking off, Mike Shildt came out and said, we're going to go to Robert Suarez as the tying run came to the on-deck circle for the St. Louis Cardinals, then making it a save situation. So Robert Suarez comes in and he strikes out Pozo to get the first out as Lars Nootbaar came in as a pinch hitter. Lars Nootbaar then hit a sacrifice fly that would score a run. It was now 7-3. San Diego over the Cardinals. Victor Scott singled, and then Mason Wynn with 2 outs hit a line shot at Robert Suarez.
Here it is on 1 and 2, and a line drive caught by Suarez. The game is over. Far more interesting than anybody in that first base dugout wanted it to be in the 9th inning. But the Padres literally hold on for the victory as Suarez snags the line drive to end the game. Cardinals get 3 in the 9th, but that's all. And the Padres wrap a 5-1 homestand with a 7-3 win over the St. Louis Cardinals.
Cardinals scored 3 runs on 6 hits, committed 1 error, left 7 on base. Padres 7 runs on 10 hits, 1 error, they left 7 on base. Dylan Cease earned the win. He's now 4-10 on the season. Andre Palante took the loss. He's now 6-8. Robert Suarez earns his 32nd save of the season. Time of the ball game, 2 hours and 59 minutes. Man, they were close to the 3-hour mark. In front of 44,709 on a 72-degree sunny afternoon in America's finest city. Padres win at 7-3 over the St. Louis Cardinals with the win, now 62-50 on the year. We will let you know what happened around Major League Baseball in just a little bit. We will also, when we come back, hear from Mike Shildt after what was a very convincing victory that turned into a little bit of, this got a little bit more daring than we would imagine. We'll hear from Mike Shildt when we come back on the Jamul Casino Resort post-game show. I'm Braden Suprenant filling in for Sam Levitt. Padres win 7-3 over the St. Louis Cardinals as you listen to the Padres Radio Network and San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Look at how quick the breaks are in the postgame show. Braden Suprenant filling in for Sam Levitt on the Jamul Casino Resort postgame show. Padres win it tonight. 7-3 of the St. Louis Cardinals. They take 2 out of 3 from St. Louis. And with the win, and some good results mixed in. Oh, that's a heck of a catch by Riley Green on Sunday Night Baseball as I get distracted for a second. Go back and look at that highlight in Philadelphia. Phillies have a 1-0 lead on Detroit, but there were other scores that helped the Padres out in terms of wild card. Obviously, the Dodgers won today, so going to stick at 3 games as you get ready for the Arizona Diamondbacks coming up in the next handful of days, and we'll talk a little bit about that at the end of the postgame show. If you haven't done so already, you can follow me on social media at @B_SURP, at @BSURP. I'm usually on after Ben and Woods and before Gwen and Chris, Monday through Friday, 10 to 2 on the Braden Suprenant Show. Again, filling in for Sam today, filling in for Sam on Wednesday, just on the post games. So we appreciate you guys tuning in, listening to us as we give you what's going on with the Padres after a 7-3 victory. We just talked about the highlights of today's game. Obviously, Jake Cronenworth hit a home run, his 9th of the year. Ramon Laureano hit a home run, his first in a Padres uniform. Offensively, everybody in the lineup got a hit today. The only one that didn't was Manny Machado, but he still contributed and did score a run after working a walk that was very crucial in that 7th inning, in which Jackson Merrill hit a bases clearing triple. That was the offense for the Padres. Dylan Cease today, 9 punch-outs for the starting right-handed pitcher for the San Diego Padres. Dylan Cease gets the win. He's now 4-10 on the year, goes 5 innings, only allows 1 hit, no runs, 1 walk, 9 punch-outs. Bullpen added 7 more strikeouts, 16 strikeouts by the pitchers today for the San Diego Padres. How did Mike Shildt view this game? We're going to hear from Mike as we head on down to the clubhouse at Petco Park to hear from the manager.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Served up by Sin Lee Food, where fresh meets flavor. Find farm fresh produce, bold Asian spices, and gourmet ingredients at 4665 El Cajon Boulevard. Sin Lee Food, the cook's Asian resource.
Like, I imagine you're pretty pleased with the different ways won that ball game in the middle innings.
I couldn't have been more pleased with the whole game, really. I mean, it was almost an unblemished game. You know, a little hiccup in the 9th. But, yeah, man, everything on display today, you know, usually starts on the hill. Dylan was fantastic. Recovered from a longer first inning, 28 pitches, able to sit at 90 and go to our bullpen from there. But a lot of good baseball. Toddy set the tone. Just really loved his game today. You know, the hustle double, the competitiveness at third base, always hunting the ball in the dirt. Probably a little bit less than a coin flip, but thought about maybe taking home, which would be awesome one day. And I think he'll probably do it again. Maybe not there was the right spot, but Laureano, fantastic, you know, using the whole field and, you know, obviously the opposite field homer for me and using the small game, then using the opposite field approach. Again, Petco arcading. That mean we can't hit balls at the ballpark. Laureano clearly did it. Strong guy. But I really like Fermin's at bats as well. And, you know, Hearn got his knock as well. And then Crony, of course, you know, got us started. We just couldn't quite get him to cave early on. And finally we knocked the door down a little bit and went from there.
You mentioned you can work with that version of Dylan. What did you see besides, you know, mixing things up a little bit more? What did you see?
A little bit more sweeper and slider, fastball. You know, my first observation early on was fastball in to righties a little bit more. So that opens things up for him. And again, the first inning, longer inning, you know, still punches out the side, but 28 pitches. And then you saw him go into really the best version of Dylan the 2nd through the 5th.
Well, what does that version of Dylan mean for kind of how scary your rotation can be with getting some guys back and some guys you've added?
Very scary. You know, it's very encouraging. We're very excited. You know, Darvish is building off his 7 innings. Nick's been great. You know, Michael, from what I understand, was good today in his rehab. You know, 31 pitches, so we'll see what that looks like if I got that correct. And Dylan was tremendous today. And, you know, like I said, it looks like the 2nd through the 5th where it's, you know, really crisp, controlling counts, closer misses. You know, he can get his strikeouts. Let's just do it in 5 pitches, 4 pitches. You know, a couple early two pitch outs. That version is the 6-7, and we are going to need 6 and 7 innings from our starters, occasionally. That's going to be important as well.
Mike, we've seen Jackson Merrill kind of have a sophomore slump at times earlier this year, but now he's really come back. 11 runs driven in the last 7 games. What have you seen from him to come up in these big spots?
Yeah, I mean, Jackson's just a good player, right? And started off where he left off last year. As we know, got sidetracked a couple of different times, actually came back from the hamstring in a really good spot. And, went through a stretch there for a couple of weeks where, the game is the game. It's going to get you at some point occasionally. And the great players is just that, is very occasionally. And talked about it during it, had full confidence in it. That what was going to happen is happening now. Jackson's a good player. He's a winner. He's got a heart of a lion. He's got, the championship pedigree and his mentality and the way he approaches it. And most importantly, Jackson is, beyond being a great player, Jackson's a team player. Jackson cares about the Padres. So when you have that mindset and you just want to win, yeah, you want to contribute with the bat, which clearly did today. It was a big 3-run triple today. Big 2-run single a couple of days ago. Big solo homer yesterday. But he also went out and dropped homers and throwing people out on bases and made web gems and ran the bases well and continued to be a good guy that we can count on to talk in the game, before the game, about competition. So, he helps us win regardless how he's doing.
For a guy that's been around for so long, like Jake Cronenworth, this is only his 17th game ever. Is there any sort of different approach that a guy like that has to take when it's something he's not really used to? I can't answer for Jake. He'd give you a better answer, himself. But, the one thing about Jake is Jake's just going to take a tough at bat and do what the game calls for. Toddy says that, and it's one of our mantras. And Jake has a feel for what that looks like. Jake had, I think, 84 RBIs for us last year, hitting more towards the middle. And then as we went and Jackson progressed, he was a good teammate and went to the middle to the bottom. Right now, we got a really good lineup that I like a lot. You got an all-star and O'Hearn that's, hitting 6. Oriano's, been able to hit righties and lefties, and, it just slots in a little more balance to the lineup, where guys can't come in and there's not really a comfortable lane for anybody. And it's at the moment it suits Jake at 8. But Jake's going to take good at bats and win regardless of where you put him. Reaction to
Yeah, what a nice sight. I didn't want to. There's rightfully a lot of crowd there, and I want to support Joe, and Joe knows that. I stay out of the bullpen. That's the pitchers and Ruben and Fritzy and the pitching group's domain. But I went out and saw him play catch, and I timed my walk appropriately. I walk around and I could see him peek a little bit, and he looked very aggressive. Everything looked clean. Nothing was forced, and it seemed like everything was coming out very, very clean. The arm was working, and the body language is really good, and he's recovered well. So it's encouraging, but it's a really big step, to get on that slab and get a catcher down and throw 15 pitches. There's more steps to go. Not yet, Ace.
Going into the trade market, how much did you want home run production to go up in for your team?
I think you're always looking for home run production to increase, but you're really just looking for winning players. I didn't what anything I said like, man, home run production. Winning players is where we found the table, and we just received them. These guys, no particular order: Miller, Sears, who's going to pitch tomorrow night. Oriano, O'Hearn, Fermin. Now we got Cortez in the mix. These are winning guys. They're coming in. They're veteran guys. They got a good presence about them. They're smart. They have high baseball IQ, strong, high character guys. They're fitting right into our culture. Yeah, sure. We'll take that.
I think you just answered it. Sears tomorrow, and then Darvish Tuesday. Would that be the plan?
That's correct. We'll finalize it here shortly, but yeah, that looks to be the right order. Yes, sir.
Yeah, JP Sears tomorrow. You Darvish on Tuesday. We'll wait for the finalization from the San Diego Padres on that. I'm Braden Suprenant, and you are listening to the Jamul Casino Resort postgame show. Filling in for Sam Levitt. I'll be filling in for Sam Levitt again on Wednesday's postgame show. He'll be back tomorrow. your normal scheduled programming for Jamul Casino Resorts Padres post-game show. If you want to join the show today, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Padres look pretty legit this week. I mean, yesterday, I was at yesterday's game. A couple of things didn't go their way. Obviously, Randy Vasquez missed in the heart of the zone on that big 3-run homer for the Cardinals. But today, Padres win it 7-3 over St. Louis. Offenses looked really good. And again, we'll talk about all those numbers when we come back, especially when we get to the heart of the order spot. And Padres, everybody contributed today in some way offensively. And aside from Adrian Morejon having the only kind of bad day today, it was an overall great team win for the San Diego Padres. And now they get ready for the Arizona Diamondbacks for 3 games in Arizona before welcoming the Boston Red Sox, who are competing for an American League pennant out there in the American League East. They will come to town. We'll talk more about that later on in the postgame show. Again, if you want to join the Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. When we come back, we'll get you the catch of the game, relief pitcher of the game, heart of the order. That's all coming up next on the Jamul Casino Resort postgame show. I'm Braden Suprenant, filling in for Sam Levitt on the Padres Radio Network and 97.3 The Fan, San Diego's #1 sports station. Military Sunday on the Padres Radio Network is presented by your San Diego County Toyota dealers. Every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care, no cost maintenance standard, so you get peace of mind standard. I'm Braden Suprenant, filling in for Sam Levitt on the Jamul Casino Resort postgame show. Padres win it today 7-3 over the St. Louis Cardinals. Got some good nuggets there out of Mike Shildt. Obviously, we saw some of the videos out there on social media of Joe Musgrove throwing his first bullpen in a long time. So he looks like he's starting to come back a little bit. I would not expect anything more this season in 2025. I know he's trying to make a target of pitching in the postseason, and who knows if he is able to do that or not. Michael King is I saw this in the chat. I want to mention this. Michael King is currently pitching for El Paso. They're down 6-2 in the bottom of the third inning. Michael King, 2 2/3 innings, 6 earned runs, 4 hits, a walk, and 5 strikeouts. He has given up 2 long balls for the El Paso Chihuahuas. They're playing the Round Rock Express. Again, they're playing in a bandbox league known as the PCL. So hopefully everything feels fine when he's done. But he is still pitching. He's still in the game right now. So he's gone 2 2/3 innings. And he just sat down Trejo, if I'm not mistaken, but I'll take another look. But anyway, 2 2/3, 6 innings, 2 2/3 innings, 6 earned runs, 4 hits, a walk, 5 strikeouts, and 2 homers for Michael King currently in his rehab start in El Paso. A lot to get to still on the Jamul Casino Resort post-game show. And, of course, we got to talk about today's catch of the game.
Which defensive play had the biggest impact on today's game?
He is at the wall, leaps up, and he makes the catch.
This is the catch of the game.
Gonna hang a star for Jackson Merrill.
Reeled in by Anthony's Fish Grotto La Mesa, celebrating 80 years of seafood excellence.
Herrera swings on 2-1, hits it in the air to deep right center field. Long run, Jackson Merrill on the track. He will reach out and make the catch. Tatis was kind of cutting behind him, so they had to sort of navigate around one another, but Merrill stuck with it all the way and went a very long way to make the catch.
Top of the 6th inning with Jason Adam in for Dylan Cease after retiring Mason Wynn. Ivan Herrera gave the ball a little bit of a ride to right center field. A little communication issue there for a little bit between Fernando and Merrill. Fernando conceded to Merrill, made a pretty good catch out there in right center field, and that is today's catch of the day. We do want to get your phone calls, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's get out to Ryan in La Mesa. Ryan, you're on the Jamul Casino Resort post-game show with Braden Suprenant.
Hi, Braden. Thanks for filling in. God bless America today. 7th inning, outstanding. Thanks for broadcasting that. Second, follow up to Sam last night. I asked about a switch-handed pitcher or ambidextrous pitcher. Sam answered the question. And my question now is about a switch-handed batter. And what do the rules say? And look, we're changing this game tremendously with pitch counts and this kind of thing. And we can teach the kids to throw a baseball with both hands, one left-handed pitch and then 2 right-handed pitches. Now, if Tatis is at the plate, he doesn't like the pitch. Can he go at the same at-bat and switch hit during the same at-bat? Thank you. I'll let you go. And let's go Padres.
Thank you, Ryan. I'm not sure. I think you can. I think guys have done that before. I think they keep flipping back and forth. I don't think there's anything in the rules that mention that, but we appreciate the phone call. All right, moving on. Let's get to today's. Well, we had pretty good relief pitching today too. Padres in total, from a pitching standpoint, had 16 strikeouts. Dylan Cease, 5 innings, a hit, a walk, 9 strikeouts. Jason Adam threw an inning. David Morgan an inning with a walk and 3 strikeouts. Obviously, Morejon didn't really have it today as he came back from not pitching too many games in a row. And then Robert Suarez finished the day with an inning, 1 hit, and 1 strikeout. But there was only one relief pitcher of the game.
Which pitcher entered the game and slammed the door shut? This is today's relief pitcher of the game, presented by David P. Shapiro Criminal Defense Attorneys. When your freedom and future are on the line, you need the best arm in the pen. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com.
Here's the pitch on the way. Walker swings and misses. Strike 3, and on 10 pitches, Jeremiah Estrada strikes out the side in the top of the 7th inning.
Jeremiah Estrada is today's relief pitcher of the game. 1 inning, 3 punch-outs. He was 1 bad call from the umpire away from an immaculate inning. Can't be more effective or efficient than that. Jeremiah Estrada is our relief pitcher of the game. 1 inning, 3 strikeouts through 10 pitches, 9 for strikes. You'll take that as many times as you can. So he is our relief pitcher of the game. Got his 23rd hold of the season as well. The Jamul Casino Resort postgame show brought to you by the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. How did the heart of the order do? Well, Jackson Merrill got a triple.
Let's take the pulse of the Padres and check in on the heart of the order. Presented by Palomar Health, the official healthcare provider of 97.3 The Fan. Palomar Health, leading with heart for every patient. Palomar Health is reimagining healthcare.
First pitch, Merrill swings, grounds it towards first. That's a fair ball down the line. Here we go. Firmin scored. Fernando's on his way. Machado being waved at third. The relay comes into first. No chance. A bases clearing triple for Merrill. And it's 5-0 in the seventh.
Jackson Merrill was really the highlight of the heart of the order, the 3-4-5 hitters for the San Diego Padres. Manny Machado 0 for 3 with a run scored. He did walk and came around to score on that Merrill triple. Machado had 2 strikeouts. Merrill 1 for 3 with a run scored, a triple. He drove in 3 of the Padres' 7 runs and also walked. Bogarts 1 for 3 with an RBI, no walks, and did strike out 1 time. And that was how the heart of the order did for the San Diego Padres. 2 for 9 with 2 runs scored and 4 RBIs. When we come back for the final segment of the Jamul Casino Resort post-game show with Braden Suprenant, we are going to let you know what's going on in Major League Baseball, the out-of-town scoreboard. Every game has gone final with the exception of Sunday Night Baseball. Phillies up 1-0, top half of the 4th inning as they take on the Detroit Tigers. How did everybody else do, and where did the Padres sit in the standings, plus the play of the game, final totals, and we'll be on our way. I'm Braden Suprenant. You're listening to the Jamul Casino Resort post-game show on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Padres 7-3 victory over the Cardinals. Take 2 out of 3 from St. Louis. I'm Braden Suprenant, filling in for Sam Levitt on the Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show. Padres got the dub, as mentioned before, and with the win are now a season high 12 games above 500, 62-50. We'll talk about how they do in the standings after we get a look at what's going on around Major League Baseball with our out-of-town scoreboard.
Let's take a trip around the bigs to highlight the scores that matter most with our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Premium Beef Patties. Always a hit for grilling.
This is going to be the most extensive out-of-town scoreboard you might hear on your radio airwaves, starting in the American League. In the Emerald City, the Seattle Mariners took down the Texas Rangers 5-4. Seattle now 60-53 on the season, drops Texas to 58-55. Texas was streaking for the deadline and have now been cooled off by the Mariners, puts them 2 games back of Seattle for the final wild card spot in the American League. Logan Evans got the dub for the Mariners, 5-4 on the season now. Jacob deGrom took the loss, now 10-4. Andres Munoz gets his 25th save of the year. 5 home runs hit in this game, 2 by the Rangers. Corey Seager's 16th, Adolis Garcia's 16th. Jorge Polanco, Julio Rodriguez, and J.P. Crawford all homered for the Mariners. Polanco's 18th, Julio Rodriguez is 20th, and J.P. Crawford's 9th as the Mariners win 5-4 in Seattle. In Cleveland, it was Minnesota outlasting the Guardians 5-4. With the win, Minnesota now 52-59. Cleveland drops to 1 game above 500 at 56-55. They're 3 games back of Seattle after the loss today to Minnesota. Cody Funderburk gets the win. He is 2-1 on the year. Joey Cantillo, former Padres farmhand, takes the loss for Cleveland. He's 2-2. Erasmo Ramirez gets his first save of the season. Jose Ramirez hit an absolute no-doubter for his 23rd homer of the year in the Guardians' loss as Minnesota wins 5-4. Went to extras north of the border. Kansas City over Toronto 7-4 in 10 innings. With the win, Kansas City back to 500. They're 3.5 games out of a wild card spot. Toronto takes the L and are now trying to hold off the Boston Red Sox for the top spot in the American League East. Hunter Harvey got the dub, 1-0 on the season. Sir Anthony Dominguez, recent pickup for Toronto, gets the L. He is now 2-4 as the Royals leave Toronto with a 7-4 win in 10 innings. Boston over Houston 6-1 today. With the win, they're now 62-51. Houston drops to 62-50. Lucas Giolito gets the dub. He's 8-2. Framber Valdez the loss. He's 11-5. Carlos Correa gets his 8th homer of the season and the first back in a Houston Astros uniform. Angels beat the White Sox 8-5. With the win, they're now 54-58. They still think they're hanging around 5.5 games back over the Southsiders. Kenley Jansen gets the win. He's 4-2. Tyler Alexander, TCU Horned Frog, takes the loss. He's now 4-10. The Halo will shine bright tonight. Colson Montgomery got a a home run, his 7th of the year. Zach Neto, 16th home run of the season. Taylor Ward is 26th homer of the year for the Halos. They win 8-5. Interleague action, Arizona versus the Athletics. Arizona wins 6-4 to improve to 53-59. A's drop to 49-65. Eduardo Rodriguez gets the win. He's 4-7. Jack Perkins the loss. He's 0-2. Kyle Nelson gets his first save of the year. Blaze Alexander hit his first home run in a D-backs uniform. JJ Bleday homered for the Athletics, his 9th. It was the D-backs over the A's 6-4 in Sacramento. The Northsiders, Chicago Cubs, beat up on the Baltimore Orioles this weekend. They take 2 out of 3 after beating the O's 5-3 today. Cubs now improved to 65-46. Baltimore drops to 10 games under 500. They're 51-61. Daniel Palencia with the win. He's 1-2. Keegan Aiken the loss. He's 3-1. Justin Turner hit a pinch hit home run, his 3rd home run of the season for the Northsiders. Yankees get swept in Miami. It's the first time that the Marlins sweep the Yankees in their existence. They take all 3 games from the Bronx Bombers down in South Beach. Miami now 55-55. They pulled to 500 on the season. They're 6 games back of a wild card spot, tied with the Giants, and only 2 games behind the Reds in the National League wild card standings. 7-3 victory today for the Fish. Edward Cabrera gets the win. He's now 5-5 on the season. Luis Gil takes the loss. He's 0-1. Trent Grisham hit his 20th home run of the season. Jazz Chisholm Jr. his 19th. Kyle Stowers for the Fish, the local product out of Christian High School, hit his 25th bomb of the year. Fish 7, Yankees 3. Dodgers and Tampa down in Tampa Bay. Dodgers win 3-0. Every game of the series this weekend resulted in a shutout. Dodgers take 2 out of 3 for the Rays. They improved to 65 and 47. They maintain that 3-game lead on the Padres in the National League West standings. Yoshinobu Yamamoto got the W. He's 10-7 on the year. Mason Englert takes the loss. He's 0-1. Ben Kasparius gets his second save of the season. Dodgers 3 and the Rays nothing. In the National League, this was a fun series this weekend. Pirates and Rockies. Pirates finally get the Rockies after blowing major leads on Friday night and Saturday night. They hold off the Rocks to win 9-5 today. Pittsburgh now 48-64 on the season. With the loss, Colorado loses their 81st game of the season. They have to win out if they want to finish 500, which we know is not going to happen. 30-81 now for the Rockies. Mitch Keller gets the W. He's 5-10. Bradley Blaylock, the loss. He's 1-3. Tommy Pham got a homer, his 5th of the season. Spencer Horwitz got his 2nd. For the Rockies, 3 homers in the loss. Mickey Moniak, the kid out of La Costa Canyon High School, got his 17th. Hunter Goodman, his 21st. And Jordan Beck, his 14th for the Rockies. Giants and Mets. Giants all over the Mets. They tripled their score today. They won 12-4 over the Metropolitans. They now improved to 500 at 56-56. Mets with the loss, now 63-49. Giants take 2 of 3 from the Mets this weekend. Carson Whisenhunt with the W is now 1-0 on the year. Frankie Montez takes the loss. He's 3-2. Rafael Devers got his 20th home run of the season for the Giants. Casey Schmidt, the Aztec from San Diego State, got his 6th. Francisco Lindor, 21 homers on the season with 1 today. Milwaukee over Washington was not the Green Bay Packers and the Commanders. No, it was the Brewers and the Nationals. 14-3 victory for Milwaukee. They improved to 67-44. They really handled the Nationals all weekend. Aaron Ashby, the nephew of Andy Ashby, gets the win. He's now 2-1. Brad Lord, the loss. He's 2-6. Bryce Terang hit a homer, his 2nd of the season. Brewers 14 and the Nationals 3. In not Atlanta and not Cincinnati, but at Bristol Motor Speedway, they finally got to resume the game. Eli White hit his 6th homer of the season.
2-1 is swung on, hit high and deep down the left field line. If it's fair, it's trouble. It is a fair ball. Out of here to left, right over the 330 sign, onto the track beyond the left field foul pole. A 3-run home run for Eli White. Eli White's 6th homer of the year propels Atlanta over Cincinnati 4-2 with the win. Braves now 47-63 with the loss. Cincinnati drops to 58-54, and the Padres pick up yet another game on the Reds in the National League wild card standings. Houston Waldrop got the win. He's 1-0. Brent Suter, the loss. He's 1-2. Raisel Iglesias gets his 14th save of the season. Taking a look at the standings. As of right now, the Cubs have the top wild card spot with a 3.5 game lead on the Padres. New York Mets have the 2nd wild card spot. They trail the Cubs by 2.5 games and have a 1-game lead on your San Diego Padres. Again, the Padres with the tiebreaker over the New York Mets right now after they swept New York last week. Padres holding off the Reds by 4 games and the Giants and the Marlins by 6 games. Cardinals, after losing 2 out of 3 to the Pods, dropped to 6.5 games out of a wild card spot. In the National League West standings, obviously that matters the most to a lot of Padres fans out there. Padres maintain a 3-game deficit in the standings behind the Dodgers, and as I mentioned before, a 6-game lead on San Francisco. What happened again in tonight's game? Well, the Padres beat the St. Louis Cardinals 7-0. What was today's play of the game?
The line between winning and losing can be razor thin. Which play was the difference between victory and defeat? This is today's play of the game, presented by Bill Howe Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
First pitch, Merrill swings, grounds it towards first. That's a fair ball down the line. Here we go. Firmina scored. Fernando's on his way. Machado being waved at third. The relay comes into first. No chance. A bases clearing triple for Merrill. Then it's 5-0 in the 7th.
That is definitely our play of the game because that ended up being the big play that the Padres needed after what was a shaky ninth inning for Adrian Morejon. Again, getting some work in and pitched in a couple of days. He ended up giving up 3 runs. Robert Suarez came in, shut the door, and the Padres win 7-3 over the St. Louis Cardinals. This is the Jamul Casino Resorts Padres post-game show. I'm Braden Suprenant, filling in for Sam Levitt. Padres win it today, 7-3 over the St. Louis Cardinals. I want to say thank you to everybody involved with the Padres broadcast, for Jesse Agler, Tony Gwynn Jr., and their producer and engineer, Dave Marcus, for Kyle Ovenshire, who is our studio coordinator here in studio. I'm Braden Suprenant signing off. Cardinals scored 3 runs today on 6 hits, 1 error, left 7 on base. Padres 7 runs on 10 hits, 1 error, they left 7 on base. Dylan Ceaser in the win, now 4-10 on the year. Andre Palante took the loss, he's 6-8. Robert Suarez earns his 32nd save of the season. Time of the ball game, 2 hours and 59 minutes played in front of 44,709 on a 72-degree sunny afternoon in America's finest city. Padres win it today, 7-3. I'm Braden Suprenant. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow at 10 o'clock on San Diego Sports Station, 97.3 The Fan.